Okay, I'm gonna put you on speaker, so you can talk, because you'll have to talk when I...
When it's your turn to talk.
Okay. Oh,
Got myself on speaker, so.
there we go.
Cool.
Dan's streaming in on my phone. Okay, so we're gonna start the meeting at 6:30. This is the Town of Summers Zoning Commission. This is a regular meeting on Monday, May 3rd, 2021. This is at the Summers Town Hall Auditorium. This is a live meeting. We'll do roll call. Paige Rassad. Here. Carl Walton.
Here.
Bill Shapiro.
Here.
Here.
Yep.
Dan Ferrero.
Here.
Lucas Cherry is not here yet, or I don't know if he's coming. Myself, Jill Conklin, present. We have executive session. Jill?
Excuse me. It's a gift to officially see
Oh, sorry.
Bill for Lucas.
Yes.
I would just say, suggest everyone talk loud enough that the microphone there
Is it?
picks up, especially with the masks, it's hard.
Okay.
You can use the microphones if
Yeah.
you need to, or talk real loud.
What?
Okay, so, yes, I need to seat Bill Shapiro for Lucas Cherry. Okay, so with that said, we're going to get a motion to go into executive session.
Make a motion to go into executive session. Inviting Jennifer and also Carl Angelina, the town attorney.
Okay.
And I guess we're throwing all the rest of you guys out in the
All right, so, well, we're going to go in the other room, I thought. We were going to go, yeah.
Are we going in the
Yeah.
other room?
Are you okay with going in the conference room?
I didn't know what we were doing.
I'm sorry?
No.
I mean, it's raining out.
Well, we have masks on, so that's up to you guys.
Whatever. I didn't know what we were doing, that's why I was throwing them out.
Just looking for...
Decide, what are we doing?
Let me go see if the other conference room has me or not.
We
You
can
may
go
not
into
have
our
to hurry
old,
up.
we can go into our old room down below,
That's what she's
right?
looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually we go in the lunchroom.
If it was tonight, we'd kick you out.
You could watch
You could watch the
baseball.
baseball.
Good thing it's not like
The kids are
10
still out
degrees
there.
and windy.
I don't
Who's
know.
there? Baseball.
Yeah, a little drizzle.
It's raining.
There's no one there.
Okay, so we're gonna,
What?
we'll go, we should go.
Would be easier, why don't we send them in there?
Yeah.
You can stay right here.
Okay,
Go ahead.
you guys
So
can
you
go to
guys
the,
can go in the other conference room over there? Okay.
We can get
No
you
one
over
can
done.
stay here for the executive session though.
And Jill, you probably want to state the time that we're going into executive session?
yes, we are going into executive session at 6:34. Should that door be
Turn
shut?
off YouTube?
Unplug.
Just turn off the microphone.
And we're plugging back in for our live meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
State the time.
Carl, can you state what we,
And they're plugging
do
in
we have
now.
to,
And
What do we have to say? We just have to say that we're returning now
We're
from
returning-
executive session.
At the time and no vote.
at
they're plugging in now.
7:09, we're returning
No
from
votes were
exec...
taken and no decisions were made.
Made, correct. So we are back, and next up on our agenda is a public hearing postponed from April 15th, 2020. It's number 20-001, Mark and Karen Murdoch, application for a text amendment to the following section of the Summer Zoning Regulations, Section 214-4, 214-84, 214-87, and 214-98B, to allow for a farm, winery, and vineyard brewery as permitted use in all zones.
Point of order, Madam Chairwoman, two things if I might.
Sure.
George Schober, first, I'm going to ask that Mr. Shapiro recuse himself. If he doesn't want to, that's okay, but I need it in the record that I've requested it. I believe he has a conflict.
Recused.
Thank you. Second is, the public hearing tonight is to amend regulations that are no longer in existence. The new regulations went into effect on May 1st. So I'm not sure what you can amend. In fact, I know you can't amend anything. So I'll just point that out. And obviously, if, you know, I don't know what you're doing, but you can't amend regulations. Doesn't matter. You have new regulations in place. Is Attorney Landolina still available? Because it might make sense to ask him. But your regulations became effective on May 1st. Today is May 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to amend regulations that are no longer in effect. You can't do that. Well, I guess you can, but there's no effect. So, I'll just point that out, and you can do as you wish.
Can I call both?
Jennifer is calling Carl right now. You can take some time while here.
I don't know if we'll go through it again.
For the record, Attorney Sean Clark on behalf of the Murdochs. As the Commission is well aware of, Mr. Schober and Mr. Pryor had taken appeal of the passage of those amendments. I disagree with his interpretation because what he appealed and what the record is very clear on is that what was approved and what was passed and seconded at the last hearing on April 8th was an amendment as to all of the regulations that were in play for the town of Summers. So his appeal may say certain things, but he attacks the notice issue with respect to the hearing on those regulations, and the record is very clear as it stands before this commission that all of the regulations are on appeal. So while that appeal is taking place, unless he's withdrawn that appeal, at this point, we're still operating under the existing set of regulations that are out there. So we believe we have a valid and proper application before this commission, which we deferred on at least 2 occasions for the commission to consider and take action on the proposed regulations in their entirety, including the ones that Mr. Schober has issue with at section 6.12. So we're here before the commission tonight, and we'd like to have the application heard. An appeal does not stay the zoning regulations. It doesn't stay the new regulations. I would have had to file a motion for the court to grant that, which I have not done. I may do that if it becomes necessary, but at this point it's not necessary. But the new regulations are in effect unless and until a court overturns the regulations, which I believe it will, but those are the regulations that are in effect right now. So, again, you can amend the old regulations, but it doesn't do you any good to do so. It won't be operative. They can't do anything with it. So you're in a purgatory. And, well, not really. You have new regulations. You're not in purgatory. People can apply for things under the new regulations. Well, and Madam Chair, the regulations as proposed by the Murdochs also address some of the issues that the Commission had concerns about, that it deferred with the passage of those regulations. So whether it's as to the old regulations or the new regulations, certainly it's an appropriate consideration for this Commission at this point in time.
It's not, because you have a notice problem. So what you noticed was amending the old regulations. That's all you can do tonight. You can't amend the new regulations. So, you have a notice problem. So it's just more grounds for an appeal, and another appeal will be forthcoming.
Excuse me, Joe, you didn't make a motion to open the public hearing yet, correct? You didn't make a motion to open the public
I
hearing?
did not.
Right.
I read that we had a public hearing tonight, and I read what's on the agenda.
Okay. Well, I was trying to reach Carl Landolina, but once he hung up, I guess I was going to suggest that maybe if you took the agenda out of order, and,
Let me see if I have a cell phone for him.
he's not, it's going to voicemail.
Really? Text him.
How about email? Give me a look at it.
Had a chance of that, but I'll try. But I didn't know if you wanted to take it out of order and maybe, you know, Mr. Murray could
Yeah,
address the
yeah.
commission while
I
we're
don't-
waiting,
Oh, that'd be fun.
but,
Let's play nice. This is, so,
I think we have a fair amount of questions that we need settled from the town attorney.
yes, I think so too.
I don't know
mean,
where we are with timing on having this public hearing start. If we're at the end of our 65 days, then I would suggest we open the public hearing.
May 14th.
so, you appealed the
He appealed-
regs, so,
I appealed, and I gotta
I
be
saw
honest,
that, I know.
I appealed 6.12, whether or not that,
right, that's
I
a
raised
section
other-
of the,
right,
Right.
and whether, but what's interesting, and I have to be honest, I didn't research it because it didn't matter to me, and I have too much going on, so whether or not what I'm raising in my appeal could throw out all of the regulations, I don't know, I'm not asking for that. And there's an issue called aggrievement, so not anybody can appeal anything, you have to have standing and be aggrieved.
Right.
Now, what's interesting is that we claim two aggrievements, and the one I think we're in on for 6.12 is that any taxpayer in town can appeal anything having to do with liquor. It's one of the only exceptions that gives you an automatic standing. And it goes back to the 1800s, and the reasoning behind it is, and maybe you don't want to know this, but I found it interesting, but the reasoning behind it
Carl.
is that liquor is deemed
Can we
to
bring
be
it back on for this
sort
public
of-
hearing? Yeah.
okay, so we have,
sort of hazardous,
Question.
and
Got Carl.
so, Carl, we have, Attorney Schoberg here, and we have on our agenda, we have a public hearing for the Murdochs for a text amendment, and Mr. Schoberg has
For a
filed,
winery, distillery, brewery,
he has filed,
an appeal.
an appeal to our zoning regs, but he specifically pulled out the section for the winery.
612.
So, are our zoning regs, are they in place, our new regs,
George,
or not?
Right, explain.
let George
Oh, yes,
explain.
they are.
They are,
Right.
because even with the appeal of Mr. Schoberg,
Yes,
Right,
let George
that doesn't
explain.
say the
his-
effectiveness of the regulations.
okay,
So, my next question would be, but this is for a text amendment, so what does it matter if it's a text amendment to the new regulations or the former regulations? I mean, it's a text amendment, right?
yes?
it's a text amendment, Carl, that's filed to specific zoning regulations that are no longer in effect. So sections
The numbering is
214,
wrong.
98, or whatever they are. So it was filed prior to new zoning regs. You can't file that and have a hearing on that, on new regs that weren't in place when that was
Are you saying
filed.
because the numbering is wrong?
No.
You're saying that the numbering is
It's-
wrong? What's
it's-
wrong? What's wrong with the application?
What's wrong with the application is that it's trying to amend something that's no longer in effect, which is the old zoning regs.
Yeah, but so it's still, the text, the numbering is not gonna be a problem. If the text amendment is adopted, it'll be fit wherever it needs to go.
No, well, I would disagree because they're trying to change parts of regulations that are no longer in existence, such as certain definitions, et cetera. I don't think they can do that. They've got to start over.
Is Sean Clark there?
Yes.
You have a notice, you're gonna have a notice problem, Carl.
Seems to me that this is fine if Mr. Clark and his clients want to take the risk of going forward based upon Mr. Schober's objection, they're entitled to do so. If they want to withdraw and file a new application, they're entitled to do that. It's their application.
He's already had an opportunity to respond. He's filed all kinds of paperwork in response to the application. It's been continued, as I indicated to the commission before, on at least two occasions to defer the action of the commission with respect to the existing regulations that were passed. And there were portions of the regulations, as you may be aware of, Carl, on April 8th that the commission deferred decision on. The first section of the first page of 6.12 was passed, and the regulations that we proposed actually, in fact, addressed some of those issues that the commission was grappling with. So
Whether it's an application to amend the existing regulations, I agree with you, the numbers don't really matter. It's the text of the application that matters, and that's what we're here
Right.
for.
Right, and you have, you're telling me, based upon everything you've heard from Mr. Schober, Attorney Schober, that you still want to go forward?
I don't see any reason why we shouldn't go forward at this point.
Yeah.
That's
All right,
great.
well,
It's another
your
ground for an appeal.
application.
Well, we know he's gonna take an appeal anyway, so we might as well go forward, have the hearing, and do that. I hate to waste these people's time to do that, but that
Yeah.
seems to be the playing field that we're on at this point. But in order for us to proceed, I think we have to have the opportunity to present that. We've been cooperative with the commission in terms of deferring our action on this application so the commission could look at these other issues. And we're now, in the midst of an appeal on the application, the parent sections that are important to the Murdochs to begin with. So I don't see that our risk is any worse or any more of a further downside than what it already is to have this go forward.
Yeah. Well, I would say to the commission, based upon what I've heard, and not being there and the rest of it, but, the applicant is willing to take the risk of this being appealed based upon whatever procedural issues Mr. Schober has with the application going forward, and I'm sure if he takes an appeal, he'll address those as well as any substantive arguments he may have. But it's this application belongs to the Murdochs, and their lawyers saying they want to go forward. So if we think it's a problem before. I don't know if you're going to continue the public hearing or not, but there's no reason not to at least open the public hearing and let the testimony go forward tonight.
And certainly, Carl, just like the adoption of the existing regulations, if there were portions that the commission wants to review, amend, look at, like they did in the first instance, if there's things that are repetitive of what's already been passed, then they can make and address that situation. I think it's well within their discretion to do that. It's just the other things that are not there in order to get this approved and passed.
Right. And so I would suggest that the commission not close the public hearing tonight, but certainly open it and let the process unfold.
And from our perspective, now that we're back in the public domain of being here, having hearings, and the executive orders from the governor are going to start to fade in terms of the timelines for this, we obviously want to proceed in an orderly fashion so that we can comply with those deadlines.
Absolutely,
and
yes.
Proceed while we need to.
Yeah, by the time the commission meets the next time, I suspect that the executive orders that relate to the commission's business will have all been vacated. So I agree with you, Attorney Clark, on that one.
All right, thank you.
So Carl, is there any downside to this? I mean, do we have to mention the other numbers in our new zoning regs? Or maybe, I know this application was in December, right? December?
January.
It was received in January before.
Yep. So, you know what, I mean, that's going to work itself out. I would suggest that you not close the public hearing tonight, if we're, unless all we're talking about is renumbering, but I don't know what information's gonna come, so you have to make that decision as you go. But, again, I'm not concerned about the fact that, the application might reference section 21498, and that's now, section 6.4 or something like that. I don't, that kind of thing I don't think is a big deal.
Okay.
So I would just...
So open the public hearing and keep it open. I mean, it's a good night to open a public hearing because nobody's here. Frankly, if I must be honest. Yeah, okay.
All right.
So that's what we're gonna do, I guess. We'll talk to
Thank you, Carl, we just needed your...
Attorney
input.
Clark
All right, I'll call me back if you need me.
Okay,
All right, thanks, guys.
thank you.
Yeah, bye.
Bye. Did Dan hang up?
I don't know. We still have a quorum.
I know, but he
Keep
wants to
going.
be, okay, I just gotta see if he wants to be part of it. Probably sleep in that recliner. I should,
You think? That's wanna keep going.
Yeah. Hey, Dan, did you hang up on purpose, or did we get disconnected?
Go ahead, Dan.
Hello? Dan, did you hang up on? Okay, so we're gonna... Do you wanna be back at the meeting?
Who is this?
It's Jill.
Yes.
Okay, so we're back. I'm gonna just put the...
Microphone.
Okay, I'm gonna shut the microphone off, so if you wanna say something, speak loud, I will hear you.
Hey, Dan.
Not good.
Yeah, he can hear us. You can hear us, Dan?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear him. Okay, so, yes, no, maybe,
What?
go forward?
Make a motion that we open the public hearing.
Go forward.
Thank you, we make a motion to open the, do we have a second? Carl made a motion. Anyone else wanna make a motion to,
He's recused.
you're recused? Paige, Dan?
I'll second.
Paige second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so we're opening this public hearing at 7:26.
Make a motion that we continue the public hearing at our next meeting.
You don't wanna hear anything?
I'll second that.
What are we gonna hear?
Yeah, no?
And you know.
Do you want, let's give the applicant a chance. Does somebody wanna say something on the Murdoch side or Attorney Clark?
Really, you know, we're not gonna say anything new. I was just gonna summarize where we are. This is the 18th meeting, I count, that we've had about Farm Run. Unfortunately, but in my count, reviewing all the records, I counted.
I don't know if they're gonna pick that up. You might wanna,
I count 35 people who've spoken on behalf, supporting the concept so far. Have spoken up, and 13 names have opposed in total. We've provided a petition way back when of over 1,100 signatures, of which 30% are from Summers. We have over 1,200 followers on our site, of over 40% are Summers residents. We have the Economic Development supports our proposal. The Republican Town Committee supports our proposal, which last time I counted represents 60% of this town. The CGROG has accepted and approved our proposal, and the plan meets in the Plan of Conservation and Development. So I don't know what else we can say, and that, you know, what else we can do to get your. I know there were a lot of delays, but it's really only a handful of people that are opposing this. We virtually, the idea of when it was proposed about a wine festival, that was not our idea, and it's not what we were
Not part of
interested
what
in
we were
doing.
contemplating. At least I can only speak for me and say that's nothing I ever contemplated.
Yeah, it wasn't something we were contemplating either. We try to downplay the events. We're not looking for events, although yes, we do host them today because that's what our property allows within our special permit. Is it something we want to expand upon? Not necessarily. We want to get your blessing to ferment wine, because we can't do that without your approval. And so pretty much, and as far as other noise considerations, I believe you already addressed that in your regulations, both the previous ones and current ones. I think you addressed that, and we've got sound meters, and I monitor our sound for every event we do, certainly well within those parameters, and so that understand that. And I don't know, past practice, when you do events, mass gathering events, that's already in your past practice and past precedence to allow a special permit on a or occasion by occasion basis, and we're certainly willing to buy that, but that's not really, again, what we're looking for in this application. So I appreciate it, and I know we're going to continue on this for God knows how many more freaking months, but I hope to resolve
I
it.
thought we were done with it myself.
I did too.
So
We thought it was done, so,
Yeah.
I thought we had come up with we had arrived at a place that was gonna work,
Yeah.
but apparently not.
no. So we're gonna continue. Do you have any questions?
You know, that place that we're at, I see it as, we just passed a regulation, but we couldn't decide on the pieces
Yeah.
of regulation. And,
I mean, that's really the linchpin right now, in our mind, or in my mind, is the parts of the regulation that we put forth in the new regulations that weren't finalized. And that was how we would deal with the tasting room, et cetera. And the urgency around that was motivated by the fact that apparently, as soon as you have permission of the federal government and the state, unless we say you can't do something, you can do it all.
Well, the application to open a winery, it requires her signature and the town clerk.
So you do not have a manufacturer's permit from the feds or the state?
From the federal.
We have federal, but the state won't grant it without her signature and the town clerk.
Okay.
And therefore requires you.
Yeah, no, I got you. I mean, the position that I've represented, and I think that the commission has maintained, is that we do feel that this is a valid use of large tracts of land to keep it open. Most of the testimony we took wasn't about a regulation, it was about your winery. That
All of it.
became a problem because the regulation's not about your winery. It's about allowing that.
So let me just comment on that
Sure.
on behalf of Murdoch for just a second. I've been involved in working with the Murdochs on this winery concept. It's been a dream of theirs for a long time, and it's probably been at least 3 or 4 years now, not only in this town, and they had other options for other towns to consider. And they really ultimately decided they wanted to do it in their town, Somers. They're part of the community, and they really wanted to do that here. I think it's important that they found a piece of property that they think will really work for this and really provide a great benefit to the town. Right now, Worthington, even though we're talking about the regulation, is really, in essence, a town park that's owned by the Murdochs. It's been open for skating, it's been open for walking, it's open for recreational use. But the town kind of is getting a park out of this, and I'm not belittling what we're trying to suggest that they really want to do here, which is the winery concept, which we've been sort of battling over. Good to see you all in person. I feel remiss that we didn't say hello to each other, because we've seen each other on Zoom or heard you, Carl, on Zoom.
No, hi.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of good to see everybody here. And we may not all agree. Attorney Schober and I and his client may disagree ultimately about the benefits of this particular concept and the impact of the regulations at the state and federal level, but it is a highly regulated activity both by the state government and by the federal government. So they define the hours, they define what you can do, they define what can happen and what can't happen. What we've tried to do is to work with the town since the day one that I got involved, which was last January when the first hearing was on the amended zoning regulations. And immediately after those regulations were discussed, and all the people came in and talked favorably about that except for a couple, we submitted a letter that said, this is how we think we can make it better. And then that discussion kind of went and let off, and you guys have had a lot of meetings and spent a lot of time, and we're not here tonight to rehash all that, because we think you understand that. You totally get it. You totally get it. But the text amendment that we submitted in January was done specifically because if 6.12, let's be serious, 6.11 and 6.12, the whole regulation as a whole, the definition sections, the boxes in zoning, enactments in terms of what can happen in the different zones. If those are all been passed, if there's still a question about that, including the question that Paige raised about with respect to the things, we fundamentally believe that this commission can address 99% of the concerns, whether it's noise, whether it's layout, whether it's design, whether it's the tasting rooms, with an appropriate site plan. And what we're really trying to do with respect to these regulations, at least get us to that stage. Because if there's a battle over this part, okay, and the battle may not end today, but if there's a battle over this part, we're sure there's going to be concerns in a battle over the second part. But if we never can really show you how this property is better than a lot of other properties in the town, how this property is better because of the way it's located, the way its topography is, the way there's some natural buffers there, then all of this is kind of for naught, both on our side and from your side. But the regulations, It's okay. But the regulation, I always get the hackers when I'm speaking, right?
You can wait and do it to him until he gets
Like the third time, I think, but, in any event, but it's just about getting to that point. So this regulation, as we've put it together, includes some of those concern issues that the commission didn't adopt on April 8th, okay? Those, they talk about parking, they talk about the hours, they talk about some of those things that would take place. And I think this gives us a basic framework for an applicant to come to this commission and present a proposal for such a concept. And I think, you know, the text amendment does that. There's not a lot more that we really need to say because it's all been discussed, whether it's from noise, whether it's from the neighbors' concerns, whether it's from events, whether it's trying to lead you to think this is going to be La Renaissance, because it's not going to be La Renaissance. But again, it's a text amendment about a regulation, not about Worthington Pond, and we just want to get to that point. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Clark.
Home for me.
Well, we have to continue it.
We certainly did have, public comment. We have to continue.
This public hearing.
Why, you want to close it and approve it right now?
Well, our attorney told us to keep it open, so.
Told us to keep it open.
So, at this point, I don't really feel comfortable going against for whatever reason. That's but, I'm just one vote here.
What?
What would you like?
I made a motion to continue it.
You made a motion to continue it, Paige?
I'd like to speak.
Sure, sure.
We've heard from the
Oh,
applicant.
yeah, why not? Let's keep it going.
George Schober for the record, 98 Rocky Dundee Road. First, I want to say that this isn't a popularity contest. I don't care how many people they get on a petition or anything else. This commission needs to look out for every single resident in this town. So it doesn't matter if there's 1,200 signatures. I could get a petition that says, do you want an event center next to your house, and bring that around, and I probably get 1,200 signatures. Second thing is that I don't think that the commission totally gets this. Our problem with this regulation is based on the special use permit that it exists at Worthington Pond. They get to do all kinds of things that are going to ruin the peaceful enjoyment of our property. And I don't think you get that, and Glenn certainly didn't get that, or was under orders from somebody to bring in the regulations.
That's a pretty ridiculous accusation there. I mean, I hear you.
Not from you, but there's other people.
That way, but.
Yeah, because it kept coming back.
The first time we sat with Glenn, years ago, when we were starting our regulation, we sat at the table. Murdochs weren't even in the picture. I said, myself, it'd be nice if we could have a farm table set, something to do outside. All these other towns have it. Before we even started writing or modifying or writing, whatever you want to call what we did with the regs. We talked about it, and then they came forward and said this was an idea somebody wanted to pass around, see if we could embrace it. And we said, hey, we just talked about that. And it wasn't about, there wasn't even a spot. I didn't even know where it was going to be. We did not know where it was going to be.
Understood, and that's not what I'm saying.
No, we understand.
It's the last couple of months that have been the problem. So, for instance, there were a lot of things that changed from regulation or draft to draft that got worse as the process went on. And, completely. So, for instance, the last regulation that was presented, where was the acreage limitation? There wasn't one. And
you mean Glenn's write-up?
Exactly. Glenn's write-ups kept and he kept leading you different ways than how you were discussing things at your workshops and at your public hearings. The comments that you all were making were different than what he would come back with. And we noticed that. And we re-listened to things. And we reviewed things. And Glenn's awful darn close to practicing law without a license. And I'm not the only attorney who is feeling that way.
He doesn't
They're
give us legal advice, he's clear on that.
awful close to practicing
Doesn't give us
law
legal
without a
advice,
license.
and you know what, we had a hard time, because we have an idea of what should happen in certain zones, or on a certain street, but we weren't, this application was not before us then, we were dealing with our regs. But everybody kept speaking about this application.
Well, no,
Well, because it is about this application.
It's not,
But it's
this
not.
is not,
It
this is
is.
about no, it isn't, it is not about this regulation, George.
George,
This
we're not gonna
is
get into
about
this.
allowing this in the town of Summers.
Right,
And not
there's only one-
not just on Mountain Road.
There's only
And-
one applicant.
Yeah, but you know, there's gonna be more.
Maybe.
There's gonna be
Maybe.
more. Yeah, sure,
Maybe.
there's gonna be more.
You
You
would
wanna
think
bet
in
there's
the
gonna
last-
be more? It's a nice town, it's quiet.
You would
There's
think
gonna
in
be
the
more.
last 3 years, there would have been more people expressing interest, but I haven't seen it. But
You could turn a farm into a productive business, a place to go, rather than a solar field. How's that?
That's fine, it's not gonna disturb my peace and quiet, or my client's peace and quiet, or the
And I'm all
other
for
people.
that. I don't wanna disturb your peace and quiet.
Well, but
That's why
exactly what-
we've taken all this time.
That's exactly what
I
the
know. I
regulation
gotta-
did.
arguing, bickering
Okay.
back and forth isn't gonna help.
Well, it
either
might,
side.
So
it might.
I put a lot of time in here
No,
too.
no,
You
it's
do,
not gonna do it.
and that's understood, but we said what the issue was, and you went ahead and created exactly what we said the issue was. And I don't feel bad for the Murdochs. I went to their attorney and I said, let's get rid of the special use permit. That'll solve a problem. Now you can have your winery. If that's what you really want to do, you can do that.
How'd that go?
They weren't interested.
Yeah.
That's how it
But
went.
that's what they
why
bought.
we're here.
That's what they
That's
bought.
not true.
No.
What he did was he contacted me, and then the next thing he did was he blasted the record with a letter and all kinds of documents about what my clients were doing. So if that's how George wants to negotiate with this commission and everybody else, then it speaks for itself. But I don't think George should stand here and say, oh, I gave his clients the opportunity to do this. I mean, quite frankly, this is a public hearing about a text amendment. If he
Correct.
wants to stick to the text amendment issues, that's fine. But this is what he does all the time. He starts
Okay,
to-
wait a minute. Number one, I have the floor, and number two, I'm not gonna stand here and listen to ad hominem attacks
Don't point your finger
from
at me.
you. I will point my finger. You're not gonna do that.
George,
Now,
You're in charge,
stop.
George?
I have the floor.
No, it's my
Both
co-chair
please
is in charge right
I
now.
have the floor. So what happened was I called them up, and I suggested that if that were to happen, and he told me they weren't interested.
it's not what we're here to discuss.
Yeah,
Understood.
we're not,
Part of this.
But I'm not gonna let him get on the record and say things that aren't true about me. Not while I'm speaking anyway.
Okay.
So be that as it may, there was a way to solve this. There's still a way to solve this. But I don't think his clients are interested. If they're interested, let me know.
Time to negotiate is not the text amendment. We haven't even submitted a proposal, so therefore it's not a consideration until we get to the special permit process, period. That's our position.
We're not asking you for anything.
No.
Please don't
No.
talk to us about
No.
it.
This is, thank you.
so we're gonna continue this. We have a motion, Carl made a motion to
To our-
continue,
to our
Paige
next
seconded
regular
it,
scheduled
to
meeting.
our next regular scheduled meeting, which would be,
And we'll have some opportunity to
June.
get more input from the town attorney and to review where we actually stand on the regs.
yeah,
Yeah, and, you know, our
June
intention,
June 2nd at 6:30. 7?
June 7th.
June 7th at 6:30. All in favor?
Excuse me,
Aye.
Yes?
my client would like to speak.
Oh, no.
We just closed.
Ken?
We
Yeah.
just continued it.
June 7th.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean,
It's
nothing's
late.
happening. We're not deciding anything
We're
tonight.
not doing anything
because-
tonight, George.
This,
there's too much going on.
there's too mu, I mean.
We're happy, we're ready, willing, and able to take your entire testimony from the first, last
Understood.
one and apply it.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna move on.
Thank you, Sorry.
Item 4, discussion possible decision, we're gonna table that.
Yes.
That was our public hearing tonight.
On a related topic though,
Yes,
we had a plan to make a meeting where we could discuss the line regs as we intended to do that. I'd love to hear if now's the time.
Well, you need to make a
Right now
motion
is-
for the discussion, I would think.
well, with the,
You mean to discuss the finer points, the parts that we
that we
Oh,
didn't?
definitely not now.
No.
No, I'm just saying,
No.
but your point is to discuss what
To
about.
make a date to do that, like we said, we were going to move ahead with our regulations,
Yes.
regardless of these other
Right,
activities.
right,
That we are going to move ahead with a piece of our regulation that we,
It was part of the package we approved.
yeah.
yes, we have a regulation.
But we thought we were gonna fine tune it, right?
Our plan was to.
That was our
create
plan.
an actual set of
Yeah.
regulations.
Okay, well, I'm just considering that all eyes are on the Summer Zoning Commission
Right.
for every procedure.
Right.
I'd either make a motion to discuss a possible meeting.
No, we're not.
Or
I'm just
just
trying
move
to
on.
clarify what she's talking about, that's all.
And we have an appeal of that
Correct.
section.
Correct, but there's no reason why we shouldn't continue to work on it because
I mean,
it'll be
that's
up
up
to
to
the
you guys,
court.
if you wanna
It'll be up
spend
to
your
the court
time
to
working
decide
on
if they're
something
gonna.
that's being appealed. If, you know what I mean, it might stick, stay, change, whatever, that's totally up to you guys.
I think maybe the new people will do better.
The new people. So we tabled discussion, are we
Yep.
tabling the,
Discussion on
Yeah.
that?
no, we tabled the discussion on that.
Yep.
Everybody make a motion to
Aye.
table, aye. The other,
Discussion on the regulation.
and the other business, I mean, you wanted,
No,
do you,
No, what,
I'm just,
Joe?
so, your discussion, you were tabling the discussion,
Discussion,
possible
yes,
decision.
yes.
You made the motion.
I did.
Carl made a motion,
Okay.
Paige seconded it,
Seconded it. We had a
and we
brief
made,
discussion.
we had a brief discussion that we're tabling that because of the public hearing still open, and we're,
Because it's improper to decide until the
public hearing closed, yes.
So now you're on to other business.
So now we're on to other business,
I just
and,
suggest if you want to talk about a special
We're
working
not,
session.
we're not,
Okay.
okay,
we're not, because
We're
it's not
not.
on the agenda.
we're not.
It's a regular meeting, you could
I
make
know,
a
we
motion
can
to
add it.
add. an
Do you
agenda.
Not
want
if it's on
to-
next.
You don't wanna talk about,
Well, you should have thought about that
you don't
before
wanna, you don't
started
wanna
coming.
discuss the text amendment.
None.
None, zero, okay. So, moving right along, other business, we have,
Which one? The Murdoch's text amendment? We can't.
no, we were when we approved our zoning regs,
Yes, we
we
had
said
the-
we were gonna revisit that section
And have a
and,
working
and have a
session.
working
Have a work
session,
session.
because we
Tonight's-
kind of,
Tonight's not the night.
tonight's not the night for that,
You can set the date.
not to even set a date, because you don't, I mean, I don't know, I don't have any, well,
I'd like
we
to
do
add
have an
an
attorney
agenda
here.
item.
Yeah, but I can't be involved.
Yeah.
No, he can't be
You
involved.
can
So-
hold it, I'm just saying that
I'd like to add
whatever
an
action you
agenda
guys take,
item.
I would make a motion and second and vote.
We're not
Do you
taking
want
any,
to add
we're,
it now or take Jonathan's?
No, I'd like to add Jonathan?
yeah, so we're gonna see, 349 Main Street LLC, Sunny's Place, Jonathan Murray's here. Hi, Jonathan.
Hi, so timing.
Yes,
Come up closer.
you can come up
talk real
closer,
loud.
bring a chair if you want, or
He didn't bring any
this is,
backup, I don't know, it's bad.
we've got the, microphone right here. How's it going?
Good, how are you guys?
Good.
Long time no see.
Yeah,
So I'm just here tonight to, a proposed addition, to Sunny's to discuss and bring it up before I would submit anything. So what we'd like to consider, and I'll show you on the site plan first, is, so a few years back, we had been approved for a ropes course, and we had
Mhm.
moved the monkey motions and the climbing walls over.
Yep.
Well, we've since then decided that one of our most popular attractions is mini golf
Yep.
for the golf center, and it backs up. So we'd like to come before the board and propose a additional mini golf in that area. So
Out
this,
by the road?
it would be off of the road, it'd be
Right here?
right here, it'd be up 50 feet back for the setback.
Yeah, no, I'm in the same place.
It'd be in the same place as the ropes course, so we would take the ropes course off the table and install a new mini golf course themed to be kind of like a volcano, low light, we're not gonna put any high, you know, I have the highlights now, this is all low lighting in here, but it's, again, it's mini golf, so it's golf related, it's to the left of the zip line.
zip line, yeah, I
Right.
know exactly where that is, yeah.
The twist is a portion of this is a small bumper boat area for up to 12 bumper boats.
Oh, wait.
So that's why I'm here, that's why I'm here.
So,
Okay, so
Mini
sometimes-
golf.
so inside the mini golf, this
Yeah.
lake.
The pond in the middle.
The pond in the middle is a bumper.
So mini golf
So how
golf
many-
would be around
So these are
it.
the little boats.
Yes,
So
12.
how many people fit in a boat?
One.
One person.
Okay. the
How
bumper
deep is the
boat.
water?
It's about 3
The bumper
feet
boat.
deep.
3 feet deep? I don't know.
What's that in the back
I've never
there?
been in a bumper.
This here is just a seating area, and this is where we relocate the existing monkey motions and the rock
Okay.
climbing walls to the
Yep.
back behind it. So the arcade is over here in the laser tag room.
So you're gonna fill up the whole old driving range space?
It would fill most of it, yes.
Mm. So this, on this map here, is this encompass just that, or is this
So
the
this-
monkey motion would be back
They
here?
would they get pushed back here, so nothing would be past the
The-
flood line.
Yeah.
Everything stays in front of the flood line, it just pushes it back a little bit further, and
Except the boat.
the mini golf would come in
I
here.
mean, hey, the mini golf is what the whole place was all about.
Mini golf isn't gonna fit in that space, is it, Jonathan?
Yes, it
That
will.
big mini golf?
Yep.
Yeah. How many holes is that? 18, is that any?
18 holes. So no, the mini golf, the existing mini golf will stay, this is gonna supplement that because we get lines on the mini golf. And it's very popular, so this would be allowed, people would be allowed to go between the two. This would require an additional 39 parking spaces,
Mhm.
For the
And
regulations?
Where would they be?
and they would be added onto this lot here.
Okay, so this lot here is closed most of the time now, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, it was
And-
all during COVID, it was closed, because we had no business, but we would add on to 39 to this one.
And would this be like paved like that, or would
Yes.
it be like
Be just like it.
overflow? No, that
Be
would be...
paved, yep, we would just extend it out like that.
Mhm.
Where's the rest of your overflow parking?
Or-
Well, they used to have overflow over
Right,
here
just
for
some employee park-
workers,
Just employee
and would
parking.
they wouldn't be parking over here then?
Well, they still would be, because they can be
Or
back in
they
here.
could park over here on this piece.
Well, yeah, but actually, all
On
in,
that
they
piece,
could be,
no.
they're actually back here, closer to the back of the pavilion.
So
is
they
where
walk
park.
right over here.
Yep.
So they drive up like this
We
and they
still have
come
an
around?
access
Is that
road.
what they do?
Hmm?
Yeah,
Mhm.
they drive up here and come
Right.
around.
Is that all marked on the?
It will be, I'm just here preliminarily
Yeah,
to talk
so
about it.
do they drive
This
up
isn't-
here, do they go over this line, or do they drive
So
along here?
They drive along, right now the road drives along right here.
Oh, I see it, yeah, the
And it
access
comes
gravel.
along back here,
So you're gonna move it?
just move the line back, move the
Mhm.
road back.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why I asked like
Yep.
that,
Mhm.
is because, you know, we get these little dribs and drabs of projects without often seeing like the really full picture. So,
Yeah.
you know, seeing the parking area.
Yeah, that would all be
Whatever
put
the
in.
reality is,
Mhm.
without having it show up, you know,
I think our reality is all on these plans that have been approved right now.
Mhm.
We've come before you with all these plans, and it's exactly what's out there right now.
Is,
It's just a little change to what was there.
is this the old barn?
That's the
That
old
doesn't
barn.
represent the new barn,
Correct.
right?
No.
Okay.
And that's on the
So
farm
when you come
property.
back, are you gonna have a new barn, all that?
We can have that
Just
added.
because it's like what's there now?
Yeah, yeah.
So this would modify
Yeah,
too? 'cause
so I would have Art
this is
Russo
a
just-
separate piece though, isn't it?
Correct.
So I guess you don't have to because, well, this parking's on that piece,
Yeah,
right?
so this lot line
Yeah.
would be reconfigured to
So
add
we'd
that
like to see
parking.
what,
With the lot, yeah, that barn.
that's not a,
fine.
because you probably want that anyways, right?
We just haven't done it on these
Yeah.
drawings.
So, I
you
mean,
know, if you're already doing the lot reconfiguration,
Mhm.
thinking through how to do it, again, so it reflects reality of how you use space, how you invite people in and have flow between the two properties. 'Cause
Mhm.
Well, that's the old drawing, you just highlighted the area
yeah,
for
yeah,
that.
for
Yeah.
this, just to
Yep.
see, and then you'll spend the money to have,
Yeah, I just
to
wanted
have
to talk about it
Russo
first and...
or Palmberg, somebody draw it up.
Russo would draw it up and do like we usually do, come in
Yeah.
for a public hearing
Yeah.
and do that process.
I-
Have you talked to the fire marshal about the bumper boats?
I will talk to Chris, I'm not sure if he has or not yet.
So I'm just wondering if they are considered amusement under
Is that an
fire
amuse-
code.
Hmm,
That I don't know.
wowza.
That's why we had to say no to the tower, drop tower.
Yeah, I'm not sure how he makes that determination, but
Well,
it
it has
must
to be an
something in the state
amusement
reg.
ride, is that an amusement ride?
I
then, a
know he
bumper?
told me, and I actually think I have it written in my own old zoning reg.
Should we Google it? No.
No, we can ask him, we'll do that research first.
Yeah.
I just wanted to
I
kind
mean,
of show you what we were considering.
Personally, mini golf is what it is over there. I don't think it looks nice.
It'll be done in the same
Yeah, of course,
way we do everything else,
yeah.
so.
I guess there'd be a question is that an amusement ride? That's the question, right? Because it's not an amusement park.
Right.
All right, so we'll talk to the chief,
Yeah.
fire marshal. too.
So, and it doesn't, you don't go around, you just stay right
No,
here,
so
right?
that, you're just contained in here.
How big is that area like? Is that like as big as this
5,000
room?
square feet.
Oh, it's
so-
5,000 square feet?
Yeah, so it's,
Pretty big.
say 50 by 50.
Have you seen one of those? like a bumper?
Yes, actually, there's
I've
one
never
in,
even heard of it.
there's one up in, can't think, it's up near Townsend, Mass. There's a guy that, we've been going to his place to look at things, and he has one, it's built into the, it looks like he has waterfalls, it's all built in out of stone. So this would all be decorative, it would just be a
Mhm.
concrete pond.
Yeah,
It would all fit into the theme of the mini golf.
so you'd come up here and get in and out right here, right?
Right, yeah, so you line them up
Yeah.
along here, they're electric,
Mm-hmm.
they make no noise, basically.
Do you have a theme picked out?
Yeah, it's, gonna be a tropical theme with a volcano and just very low key, but just a lot more lush.
And you could have luau's over there.
And this is gonna be more of a fun course than the other one's kinda more, it's fun, but it's more difficult.
More challenging for older-
More challenging for golfers,
yeah.
yes. Where this is gonna be more of the, we're not gonna have any of the windmills or anything, but it'll just, a lot of nice plantings and bridges, and there's actually enclosed grottos and things like that.
What's this right here?
This is existing patio space in front of this is where the
Zip line is.
carousel is.
Oh, the carousel,
And
okay.
the zip line is
Oh,
here,
the
so the
zip line's
carousel's
here,
here,
okay.
zip line's here.
Mm-hmm.
And then this area here is now the monkey motions and the rock climbing walls.
Anybody have any questions for Jonathan?
No?
No, just want to do a preliminary layout and just thought process and have you think about it and take questions like that, so we'll talk to...
My mind drifts back to why you guys would want to discuss with us a formal area designated for your use. And here we go. Bigger.
I wouldn't discuss it. We were part of the discussion.
Certainly got pulled out of the regulations.
Okay, well, thank you very much for listening.
Okay.
and I'll be back. I'll talk to...
Yeah, talk to Jennifer
Thank you.
on that.
Thanks,
Thanks, Jonathan.
Nice to see you all again.
Thank you.
You too.
Okay, so moving right along, 5-6, we have minutes approval for January 4th, 2021.
Make a motion to accept them as presented.
A second?
Second.
Second? Can we go through all of these and then make a final, or no? Individually? Okay, so-
State the minutes that he's approving.
Yeah, so that was January 4th, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so those minutes are approved as written. February 2nd and 23rd, 2020.
Motion to approve as written, submitted.
I will second.
Again, Carl made a motion, Paige seconded motion to approve the minutes from February 2nd and February 23rd, 2021 as written. Aye.
Aye.
Those are approved. And moving right along to March 10th minutes and March 22nd minutes, 2021.
Motion to approve as written.
A motion to approve as written by Carl Walton. Paige Rasted second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries to approve the minutes of March 10th and March 22nd, 2021 as written. And now, last but not least, we have April 8th, 2021 minutes to approve. Thanks,
Approve as
Dan.
written. Motion to approve as written.
Carl made a motion to approve as written.
Danielle, second.
Dan, second it.
I'll second that.
Dan made, Dan second that. Oh,
She hung up on you, Dan.
no, I didn't. I can't, my phone was
Try
upside
and-
down. Hold on. Yeah, Dan second that motion for April 8th, 2021 to approve the minutes as written. All in favor?
Aye.
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 So moved. Okay.
Now,
let-
Carl, do you want to add an agenda item to talk about a working
Aye.
meeting, or no?
I second it.
Thank you, Dan.
Yes, I'd like to add an agenda item to have a brief discussion about it. We plan a working meeting on the 6.1
I second it.
2 meeting, regulation concerning islands.
Motion for April 8th, 2021.
Gosh,
What's going on?
I don't know.
He's
I got
got
the
YouTube
TV on.
on.
So,
You got what?
He has the YouTube on, so it's a delayed, it's like a 30-second delay, so it's
Oh,
just saying.
okay, yeah.
So,
Okay.
you made a motion to add an agenda item to discuss the winery section.
do we want to do that in the middle of a month or at a regular meeting?
Do we have a second?
Not yet?
Paige seconded it,
Actually, I thought Dan did, but,
I don't know.
Now you can discuss.
okay.
I guess you should go to add the agenda item.
Yeah.
All in favor?
All in favor to add in the agenda item for
Aye.
discussion for the working session, aye.
Bill?
So moved.
Bill can't.
He
I don't
can't,
think
he's
I can, yeah.
recused.
Yeah.
Right,
He's-
okay.
So,
Mm. Careful.
do we want to do that in a special meeting, or do we want to do that as a,
Should we discuss it at the next meeting?
We can.
That's not, this is to discuss when you, if you want to schedule a working meeting this month.
To discuss scheduling.
yes,
Next
okay, so we put it on our agenda for next month?
No,
Is that-
this is to
we-
discuss
Yes, right
scheduling a
now,
working meeting.
right, yeah,
Sure.
that's what I thought too.
You want to
So-
put on the agenda
I
for
mean,
discussion
our
next
goal was
meeting?
to do it as soon as possible.
I know,
Right.
it was.
I would say a separate meeting, I don't know, I mean, I can,
Pick a day.
I don't.
I mean, is there anything crazy about doing that while we're in
Throw out a
this
date we don't know if we
thing
can
with,
do.
what's his,
I'm pretty much
you know what I
wide open.
mean?
Well,
I threw out
personally, I
2
think it is, I
weeks,
think
May
that it might be, you might be
17th,
just spinning your
May
wheels.
17th?
Okay,
Monday, May 17th?
okay, May 17th,
Monday, May 17th.
okay. All right, May,
6:30?
6:30, May 17th, Monday.
Well, can I make a request? I'm
And
not
that would
sure
be
if
a
I'm
special
available
meeting on Zoom?
17th, but you can do it at a different time rather than me sitting here till 6:30 waiting for you, because I don't think we're doing any Zoom anymore, so it'll be here.
Oh, it will be?
Oh, yeah, it's gonna be here, we're not Zooming.
So it'll be
Yeah.
YouTube, there's no more Zoom, but, I mean, is anyone at least available at 6 instead of 6:30?
I can do 6 o'clock, can you do 6?
I don't need to be here for that.
5:30, she can do 5:30, I can do 5:30.
I'm not involved
You're
in
not
it,
gonna
I do
be
so,
5:30.
yeah.
I think 5:30 works
On a
for me, I
Monday.
don't know about Jill.
5:30 would be close
Send
for
yourself
me,
home, Ron.
but my daughter has eye therapy in Glastonbury at
Oh.
3, get back by 4, feed her. Yeah, I guess I could do 5:30. So,
Quarter 6.
May
5:30.
17th at 5:30.
Yeah,
If I'm not here, start without me.
that's on the 17th,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so that's a special meeting, May 17th at 5:30. Dan, do you get that?
Yes.
Okay. Here at the town hall.
Oh, auditorium.
And that will make a motion to adjourn.
You will?
Anybody? I'll make a motion. Yeah, sure, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Does
Second.
anybody, Carl second it, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourning at 8:02.
8 o'clock.
Unplug.
Out.
Aye.